Excuse us, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2.
I was on a date recently with this guy that I met on a dating app, and I don't want to say which app it was because I don't want to promote it. But anyway, the date was not really good. It was kind of weird because this guy, let's just say it, he just kept whispering the whole date. And I'm like, why? Why are you whispering? I mean, I didn't say that, but that's what I thought. Because we were like in a pub. Just like, to put it back into context, sorry, I live in London, and like, you're in a pub, obviously, it can be quite loud, which is like cool, because if you go to first date, you don't really know the person, it doesn't leave blanks, but I was just like, nodding so much, because you know, like, you don't really understand what the person says, but you don't want to be like, oh, could you please repeat, so you just nod, and then you happen to be the noddy person, like, I was just like, nodding a lot, this guy was just whispering too much, and no need to say that basically we didn't see each other again, but it was like just too much.
What did you say to him to be like, yeah, never again? Like, what did you tell him?
I don't know. That was like so awkward. Why does he whisper too much?
No, but wait. I can so see Claire being like, I only have 3 chances to tell him I didn't understand or get any of that. Once these 3 chances are gone, it's over. You cannot say again, can you please repeat? Like, it's too much.
Yeah. And also, I think it wasn't that funny because I made jokes, because I like making jokes, and like usually people laugh, and he didn't laugh enough. And I'm like,
usually, Claire.
I'm wondering if it was some kind of technique, you know, like a technique he had for you to come closer to him or something. Like British boys seem the kind of people to be in kind of each techniques of seduction, you know, like if I whisper, she'll have to lean closer to me. No? I think it makes sense.
You hate Great Britain way too much. This is way too much. I don't think it was a technique of some sort. It was just a pathology at this point. Like, who does that? Like the serial whisperer or something, like that's just weird. I'm sure maybe type that into Google and maybe there's like a thread on him, you know? You never know. Like seriously, Google your date always. Pro tip, safe tip for ladies or anyone actually going on a date. If you can Google the person, sometimes you never know. Anyways,
I've never done that. Yeah,
do that. Anyways,
okay. My anecdote is directly related to my poor life choices and more especially last night, and my involvement with Canadians and Brazilian people who, when mixed, have a terrible effect on me. So here it comes. Tequila shots are the #1 threat coming from the US. Speaking of that, George Clooney created his own tequila brand and sold it for over $1 billion.
What?
Can you believe that? It's just like tequila shots are so everywhere. For a few years, before we would never do tequila shots, especially in Europe. We were classier people, but now it's like tequila shots everywhere. Everything is tequila shot, and everybody is like creating their tequila. And apparently George Clooney tequila must be the fucking bomb, because I mean, UK company bought him for over $1 billion. Like the guy isn't rich enough already. Like he made more money with this tequila company than his entire actor career.
Branching out. Like that's the new thing now. You have to branch out. You cannot focus on one of your craft. You have to be like,
George Clooney has to branch out. Yes.
This is in this economy? This is what you have to do in this economy. Like this is just like, I'm sorry, this is what you get now. Okay. That was weird. That was typically Leah. I feel like I'm saying that every week, but anyways.
I was so confused because I really thought that you were going somewhere, and then we ended up talking about George Clooney.
You thought I was going to get into the binge drinking threat.
Yeah.
But no, I wanted to do something more informative than that.
Oh my god. This is constantly a PSA. I don't know why, but this is what this show has turned into. Anyways, George, if you're listening, you know who to call if you want some investors or whatever. Not investors.
You sold it.
Oh, fuck. Okay, well, I wanted to branch out, but I can't now. Anyways, so this week, I just want to share a one-liner that I've heard in a K-drama. And I know every week I'm talking about K-dramas. Yeah, you would be right because this is my life now. Anyways, so it was a K-drama that was on Netflix this time. And so for a little bit of context, the actor that says it, he has one of the worst acting I've ever seen in my life. He's the moody, asshole-ish love interest, you know, with a tough childhood that you're supposed to love because he's sweet to the female protag, but he's an asshole to everybody else. So, like, this dude just says, with a straight face, quote, "In my middle school life, I think I smiled only once." And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, I had to hit pause and I was like, what? And like, please note that, like, the full context for this is worse. So yeah, that, one sentence killed me. So I wanted to share it with you.
That's what you said, primary school life. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, primary school.
No. I said middle school.
Middle school is like college.
Yeah,
I can understand why you don't smile a lot.
No. I knew you would try to justify this bullshit. The guy said, "I smiled only once."
What did he smile for? Like,
the girl that he loved was at the bus stop and she was listening to some music and she was dancing with her feet. And I was like, "You're just a feet fetishist. Like,
no,
this
that's
is just
a cute smile. It was happy to see her happy.
This is the one thing you have to smile about. I'm sorry. Like, no. Sorry. Like, Leah, once again, why? Anyways.
I would have smiled too. But then I smiled a lot, so...
Yeah, like, please, like, okay, you would have smiled, but not only for this, like... Such bad writing, like, my childhood was so tough, I only smiled once. I was like...
That's K-drama. It's straight into the genre.
Do not insult K-drama. You have really, really good K-drama, and you have also bad K-drama, like in every genre. Maybe it's a little bit more bad because they have a tendency, especially on Netflix, to focus on like love lines. So sometimes we have to create drama just to create drama. But this dude was way over the line. He was on thin fucking ice. I don't want to see this actor ever again on my feed. Like, Netflix, please cancel this. So, welcome to Missing Sounds. I'm one of your hosts, Muriel Vincent, and I'm here with my two best friends, Claire Kingi and Leah Nakash.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us. Here's the rundown for this week's episode. So, Leah gives us her take on social media and rolling news channels cleansing. Chances are you've been considering it. Well, she's living it and not missing it one bit. Leah, can you tell us more?
Yes, it's more like an editorial this week because I'm just gonna be very obnoxious and don't give any facts or figures, so I count on my friends to be the scientific take on this. But basically, I'm gonna explain why I deliberately keep myself out of the loop, and please, Muriel and Claire, fight me about it when I finish.
Okay, we will. Okay.
This thread started because we were like talking, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, and they kept talking about like major stuff that happened, and I kept asking questions like, who is this person? What? I don't know. Like, and they were like, what the fuck, Leah? Like, are you living in a cave? And why did they say that? Well, they said that because I didn't know about the guy who faked being attacked to raise his Hollywood worth. I'm not even sure it's related, by the way. Like, he was thinking maybe by manipulating people, empathy will give him a pay raise. Okay. And like, I didn't know about what else. I didn't know about this festival that, surprise shock, was a scam. I mean, like, it's a festival that exclusively promoted on Instagram by having models and Insta celebrities posting an orange square, and people bought tickets based on that. And so I have no empathy whatsoever for the people who got scammed. Like, I do hope the poorest of them get their money back, but I mean, for me, this is the real life consequence of this parallel life everybody's been living in, and I very gladly left. And for this topic, I had to research a bit more on Instagram, and I found out, horror. The latest drama was, what's her name? Cheated on the husband of her best friend's sister, and now you have literally like war on Instagram and Twitter, and you have people like rooting for one or the other camp, and like there's death threats involved in that, and I'm like, your neighbor probably cheated on his wife too, like, so why do you care about this particular one? So as I said, for the sake of my input today, I had to reopen Instagram, I had to try to get on Twitter, and I don't get Twitter, and to see what I missed, and the answer is like, I missed nothing. I missed absolutely nothing, and it's true. I don't want to be the person, because it's true, there are important things happening on the internet, but when they are truly important. They get relied on other media, you know, they get relied on podcasts, for example. So I do hear about the things that are really worthy to be heard of. And so one of the social media I left the earliest, because it's the one I was using the most, was Facebook. But you know, like Facebook is invasive. Facebook is boring. Twitter is abusive and makes you want to argue with stranger in 140 character sentences. And Instagram is just plain fake and here to get your money and mental health. And like, for the sake of my editorial, like, I did an experiment. I created an Instagram account. All I did was all I did was like following up dogs channel, you know, like the Doggest, or like this guy who writes dogs.
They're so cute.
And they're so cute and positive, but the app is so instrumentalized that they introduced an algorithm that is a bitch. They don't promote content that is linked to the content that you like. They promote content that is very popular and was liked by the other users of the Instagram. Each time I was opening the app, after scrolling like for 2 minutes, because it's the maximum I could do, I always felt worse about myself. And like, it triggered anxiety, it triggered fears on my own image, on my body, on my hobbies, because I would see cute dogs and then I would see this girl like sitting on her bed, pointing her feet. You know what I mean? Like this totally not natural feet.
Okay.
Having them pointing at like ballerina and having a kale smoothie in her hand and being like, always wake up like to the best happiness, hashtag strawberry pancake. And the whole thing was actually a sponsored ad for toothpaste. Like, what? Because at the other hand of a paragraph about our sunshine morning, it would say like promoted by Trident, like some kind of US dental paste company. And I was like, what is this? To me, Instagram particularly is a life factory. It's instrumentalized by companies who are trying to sell us even more things than they normally are in real life. And I can totally understand the original appeal of the app, especially if, unlike me, you're good at photography, because I think it's less invasive than Facebook. And you might be happy to see picture of your friend's vacation and shit. But like I said, it's only 20% of what you're going to see, because what's getting promoted to you is like people morning routine, people fitness routine, people cleaning routine in perfect makeup and pointy naked feet. And it's addictive, it's competitive. And there is a good side where you have people like, some people are cute and they actually compliment each other, like especially girls, like, oh, you look so good today. And this is really cute. But I feel like the majority of users are silent and are punishing themselves in a way, because do not get me started on the representation of women on this app. I find it harmful. I find it boring. I find it insulting. And please, I do not get the appeal of watching a video of one of the Kardashians saying nothing, but just like filming her face looking slightly different angles of the camera, just saying nothing and just moving her face a bit around. And like, who is interested in that? In this,
okay.
Like,
wait, Leah, because you've been ranting and it's like a lot to unpack. So, okay, I just want to say one thing. First of all, thank you for not clicking off, because like some people are like, oh hell no, she said that. Like, I'm not listening to this podcast anymore. And so if you're still here, like, thank you, first of all. But also, in defense of Twitter, it's 280 characters now, not 140. So you have even more room to argue, first of all. But yeah, I agree to a certain capacity with what you just said, especially with Instagram. But I think we have to, like I said, like really unpack everything that you just said. First of all, I understand why you would need this. It's not even a retreat at this point. It's just a cleansing. Like I said in the intro, like you just needed to just get out of this, you know, this whole kind of scrolling on the three same apps on your phone and scrolling and like nothing new and really of importance is happening. I do get that. I also do get the whole I'm trying to follow things that interest me, but I'm not getting any real, basically like you just said, like the algorithm just fucked up. So that I get. But at the same time, because it's called social media, I would argue that a lot of people think that in order to be social and to look like you have a life, you have to be on it. So in, you know, every conversation about social media, about Instagram, about it being bad for you or whatever, or good for you or whatever, there's never this argument about the fact that it's not for everybody. It's not, and it shouldn't be for everybody. It's like, if it boosts your morale, or if you like to be in touch with some people, maybe it can be of use. But now, these days, you don't have social media. Like, look at what I just said in my, like, when you were talking, Claire, about your anecdote, I was like, have you Googled him? Like, can you go on a date without knowing who it is? Like, because you have to have these profiles these days, and it's not for everybody. And I think we should maybe just start on that. Like, this whole, fake, you should have a profile and you should present yourself a certain way, because Instagram really play into that. And that's why all these people are so unhappy in their real life, but still posting really good picture of themselves. And it's their rights, but
I agree with you.
Kind of weird.
That obviously it's not for everybody, the thing you said, and not everything is black or white. But at the same time, I feel like as human, because we're being social as well amongst ourselves, and there are like things you want to talk about, there are always those kind of things that you feel like you should have them because you just want to be part of the loop. You just want to keep the conversation going. The same way that many people will subscribe to Netflix because, I don't know, at the lunch break, their coworker will be talking about like a TV show that they watched and they want to be in the loop. So they will start like subscribing and watch the series. The same way, I feel like Instagram, for some reason, is like an access to that. And then you can like cherry pick which social media you feel like you have more a connection with. But it's also a way for you to be kept in the loop and just being able to participate to the conversation because you saw like this video, you saw this post, you saw this tweet that made you laugh, you saw, I don't know, this thing that was viral, and you just want to keep the conversation going. And because we're like really in this era, and I think it's always been like the case of FOMO, you just don't want to miss out. So you feel like...
I was waiting
Yeah.
for you to say
waiting.
this.
Yeah, same.
One more thing, because for me, it's completely built on that. It's just a fear of missing out. And it's funny because you use the word conversation, but like, you're not really talking to people on social media. I feel like some are, and some are very engaged, but my take is that the majority of users are very passive and are just being bombarded with all this random, mostly uninteresting content that is making them feel bad about themselves. And it's not a conversation to me. It's like a few very key figures who speak about, most of the time it's bullshit, and people are just like receiving this all day.
It's just peak capitalism. Honestly, it's just that. It's just basically social media make it easy to promote. So to promote anything can be a lifestyle, can be a specific product, or can be products to achieve a lifestyle. So, like everything is linked. But I would also say that for most people, I think it's just because it's easier to have like a leader and to subscribe to ideas than to state your own, because of the whole anonymity on the internet. And like, people go crazy because of that. It's like, okay, maybe you want to have a conversation, and maybe what you think is really different than what other people think. Then what do you do? Because you're just gonna receive death threats. Like, let's be honest,
I think you're right, Leah. That's true that social media promotes this kind of one-sided conversation. But I also think that is a mirror of a society in a way where people like to join like global movements and they side with one group because they feel that there is a strong opinion out there, and they just like join and follow the group because they want to be part of the group and they don't want to be antagonized as well. And I think that social reflects that, except that you can see it more because you see it on your screen and a bit everywhere. So you have like those different communities standing by this idea, and they feel they're protected in a way. So this is the way I see it. And that's why it's so strong, because you can't really escape it, especially in an age where now we're very, very connected. We have all our smartphones, we have our apps. And as you said, all this push notification, which means that you're constantly confronted to those really strong opinions and there's no escape. I think that's why as well we feel like it can be very, very strong.
But just to jump back on what you're saying, Claire, I don't see what's a strong opinion. Like, I don't see strong opinion on Instagram. That's why I was also saying that there's no content per se.
Maybe not on Instagram for sure, but
Twitter.
I think that Twitter and Facebook at sometimes could be this way, especially when you had elections. I remember for presidential elections in France, I was extremely uncomfortable going on Facebook, where for me it was a bit more fun and like sharing your life, but also in a fun way where you would share memes and funny videos. And you would always have like those people with their very long status explaining why they would vote for this candidate and not another candidate. And basically they would write, those really, really long paragraphs where they would say like things that are not even interesting, but because they feel like, oh, the way I wrote it, it sounds really good, and people are gonna get behind me for what I said.
I'm remembering those posts. It was horrible. I was also avoiding Facebook at all costs. They were so bad.
That was so annoying. And, just kind of unpopular opinion, but I'm gonna say it anyway, because, in case you didn't know, I also worked at CNN or something like that, and you're like, dude, you're not, like... We're friends on Facebook because you had like those nice kitten videos or puppies video, and all of a sudden you pretend like you're Stephen Colbert. Like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, but
it really pisses me off.
In defense of Instagram not having, interesting content at all, I would say that there's the rise also of the Instagram essays, kind of. I'm following a couple of accounts where basically you have people taking pictures and then adding text on the pictures, and no, for real, and they're stating their opinions and stuff. Or sometimes they would do like an Instagram story or whatever. Like, there's
on Instagram stories, it's true.
Also, there's IGTV now. Let's not forget about IGTV. So
what's No way.
Yeah.
There's an Instagram TV.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
What the fuck is on Instagram TV?
They make videos.
It's to compete with YouTube.
They make videos.
It's to compete with YouTube.
About what?
No, it's not about something. It's more like you have the possibility to either upload a video on it or to do... There's also Instagram Live, but it's more like...
Is it? It's like Facebook Live.
Yeah. But it's not only like that. It's like I said, it's... I think they wanted to keep the YouTubers, especially like the influencers, from jumping from one platform to the next. So instead of saying, swipe up and see in my bio my link to my YouTube account, they wanted to, have everything on one platform, basically.
That's one of the main problems also with the internet. I feel they've like everything is in silos, and they completely separated each of the platform where you can put content, like, and you feel there's a certain content for Facebook, a certain content for Instagram, they should break all of that, it should be more fluid, I feel.
Actually, I think that now the lines are a bit more blurred than they used to be, because Facebook bought Instagram, and at the very beginning, Instagram was all about the photograph that you would be taking and all the style and like the different filters that you would put it. And then they realized that there was a lot of monetization going on because the influencers posting some pictures, and they saw in Instagram a way to make more money. And now Instagram has become heavily sponsored, when you can see you have like lots of ads popping in your feed, and you can shop directly on Instagram. You have like the shop button, and then you get to those websites. Also, to get back on what you were saying, Muriel, about the influencers, it is true that there were lots of vlog and vloggers uploading lots of video, this kind of fashion haul that you would find on YouTube. And now more and more they do it on Instagram, except like the videos are shorter, because Instagram is not YouTube, and you don't have like this capacity of storing those very long videos, but you have like those videos that are quite short and able to show the maximum of items that this influencer purchased. You have that a lot on Instagram now. It's a kind of conglomerate of all what's good in different platform, on different social platform. They put it in Instagram and made it a way for influencers and a lot of other people to make money out of it.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah, but like from my very brief experience on Instagram, the minute I was seeing stuff, I wanted to buy stuff. I was like, oh, my hair are not as shiny as hers, or oh, I should dress better like she does. And I found myself directly trying to purchase stuff to make me quote unquote better. I think it's all completely negative.
yeah.
I don't think it's all completely negative. I think it's a dangerous slope because even I go on Instagram from time to time, although lately I try to go on Instagram less and less. But it can be, as you said, a dangerous slope, because everybody wants to show that they have a classy life, they have this certain lifestyle, and they try to identify as an influencer, although they're regular folks like you and I. And I do think that Instagram actually showed how much looks was important and how much you could get money out of your looks and how you could monetize all of that. Because even people who are not influencers, even when I post some pictures of brunch or those kind of things, sometimes I would have like those bots commenting on my pictures and saying, oh, we really like your feed, check out what we're doing, drop us a DM if you want to make a collaboration and all those things. I don't know if it already happened to you, but
Yeah,
it did happen
you have
to
all
me.
these accounts that follow you, like the minute you post something on Instagram. Yeah, so basically it's like you will post something and then a couple of minutes later you will have like a notification of like you have 2, 3, 4 more followers than you used to have like a minute before. And these are either bots or people trying to promote themselves, because we live now in the age
Exactly.
of everyone is an influencer. Like personal branding is on the rise, let's be honest. So yeah, but like you said, even if there's good on Instagram, there's also a lot of bad. So I was defending it earlier because I like to be, like balanced in my opinions and in my arguments. But Leah is right on a lot of things, and I want to touch on the mental health aspect of it because I think we didn't really talk about it, and I think it's important. What do you think?
Yeah, I briefly mentioned it when I said like each time I was going on Instagram, I felt worse about myself than I did before. So there's definitely some psychological, scheme at play here. So if you know more about it, please tell us.
I've seen this book. I haven't read it myself, actually. I've read an article on it, which is a throwback to our very first episode, not the first episode, but the icebreaker, when I was saying that, a lot of time you haven't read the book, but you've read an article about the book. But anyways, yeah, that's the case here. So I read this article about this book that was called, I believe, So You've Been Publicly Shamed. And basically it's about these people that at some point have been just exposed on one of these social media. So maybe it can, like a white supremacist being told off, which is always good, but it can also, for some people who just want to share an opinion that just, doesn't meet the expectations of the masses, it can be really detrimental to their life, to their careers. So these people really suffer from PTSD now, from what I've seen, from trauma also. And another point that I've seen that I've heard on a podcast was that when you look at pictures of all these girls on Instagrams that look so perfect, because they aren't, because they really use, this software that's called Facetune. So it's basically Photoshop for your face and for your body and for everything, for your appearances. Basically, it kind of light up this area in your brain that's linked to trauma. So it just activates, this kind of feeling in you that you're not perfect as you could be, or at least you're not, presenting your best self to the world. And now that we've seen with what you said, Claire, that your best self can make you money, it's even more important now than ever. So it's just really detrimental. It can be detrimental to your mental health. And knowing it means that it would be better for you to just limit the time you spend on these apps. But besides Leah, Even I am not doing it, so I don't know if we can.
But even for the influencers, like it completely destroyed their lives. There was one girl was a former influencer. I don't remember those people's name, but she was basically saying that her entire day revolved around posting 2 or 3 perfect picture. And one time she took her 4 hours to make this perfect picture. And it's like, you don't live, then you live just, all that you live is just through the lens of social media. So you will go to a certain cafe. You're not even going to appreciate what you're going to eat. You just want a picture of it to post. And I find like you're wasting your life away for the appreciation of people that do not really care about you, don't even know you. And all those they're addicted to likes, they're addicted to Spencer, sending them stupid stuff.
True.
I really don't get what they're getting out of it, aside money, of course, but then at what cost, your entire life is just a freak show.
I think that Instagram is the perfect translation of the 15 minutes of fame, that Warhol said, because you have this kind of sense of validation through the likes that you get. Maybe the possibility to reach out to a broader audience, to have people validating your looks and be able to make money out of it, and to be able as well to look like the celebrities that you value so much. I think as well that the celebrities also kind of distort the perception that we have from us, because with the social media, they also, in a way, a bit more accessible, even if they are not that accessible. They showcase some part of their lives. Namely, I think about the Kardashians and the Jenner. They take so many pictures of themselves, even if you think about the contouring and all those things. It's really a makeup for the red carpet, but because you're exposed to it so much in your daily life, that it almost becomes a reality and a standard that you set for yourself, which also influence directly the life and the world we live in. So that's why I get the whole backlash that you have against social media, and I think it's really hard for some people to get some balance. But I mean, I use it, but I try to remember that all those things are not totally real. Try to keep my feet grounded in a way.
I think that's good, and I think we can wrap up now, guys. So maybe if you have a last thought on this topic, and then we can say bye to our audience.
I don't have any thoughts, but yeah, Leah, please do.
No, because I started this episode with my rant, and I've listened to your arguments, and I do make a separation among social media. So I will put Facebook and Twitter in one category and Instagram in another category. And I think we agree that it went too far, especially on Instagram. We didn't have like those social media 15 years ago, and we didn't miss it, but I do see the point of having Facebook and having Twitter. They can be a positive force, as we've seen with like recent like political movement, feminist movement happening on it, like gathering on it. So it's good. I will stay super stubborn on Instagram. I do not see the point at all. I think if you erase it, like if it never exists, nobody would have missed it. Nobody would have a need for it. I really don't get it. It's my wrap up.
Well, thank you guys. And thank you, Leah. I think it's really just an interesting conversation, even though it was, so abrupt. But anyway.
Sorry.
No, but I think you're right, inherently. And thank you for opening up this topic. And if you guys want us to maybe touch on something that we mentioned earlier a little bit more deeply, we can maybe do a future episode on it. So we'll see. So leave us a review as always. Yeah. And thank you guys for everything, and see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast was brought to you by Claire Kinge, Leanna Cash, and Muriel Vincent. All the sources and other materials mentioned during the show can be found on our website, missingsoundspodcast.com. If you like this episode and want to support the show, please leave us a review on iTunes or anywhere you might be listening to this podcast. You can slide in our DMs on Twitter at missing_sounds with a Z. For business inquiries, please visit missingsoundspodcast.com. Our music is by David Cutter and Joao Neves. The Missing Sounds jackets and visuals are by Ewa Kamczyc. Thank you for tuning in and take care, guys. Peace!